Close your eyes and feel this truth: no power outside of you can harm you unless you give it consent through fear or doubt. Today we stand firmly in the light of divine protection, knowing that every plan of harm, seen or unseen, is rendered powerless by the strength of your inner conviction. The truth that your inner world shapes your outer world is a principle so profound that it can transform your life when fully grasped. Everything you experience in the external world is a reflection of the beliefs, emotions, and assumptions held in the depths of your inner being. It is not mere chance or fate that determines your circumstances, but the invisible workings of your consciousness. The external reality is a mirror, showing you the state of your mind and spirit. To change your life, you must first change within. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a projector, and the world around you is the screen. The images you see on the screen come not from the screen itself, but from the film within the projector. In the same way, the situations, relationships, and events in your life are projections of your internal beliefs and assumptions. This realization is both liberating and sobering. It means you are never at the mercy of external circumstances, no matter how dire they may appear. Instead, you hold the power to create a new reality by transforming your inner state. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you harbor, and every belief you accept as true becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Over time, these seeds grow and manifest as the conditions of your life. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, you will reap a harvest of struggle and lack. Conversely, if you sow seeds of confidence, love, and abundance, your outer world will flourish with opportunities, joy, and prosperity. The universe is impartial. It responds faithfully to the nature of your inner vibrations. It is crucial to examine the assumptions you carry about yourself and the world. These assumptions operate like unseen laws, shaping your experiences without your conscious awareness. For example, if you assume that life is a constant struggle, you will unknowingly attract situations that confirm this belief. However, if you adopt the assumption that life is filled with ease and grace, the world will reorganize itself to reflect that truth. The key is not to wait for external validation, but to hold firmly to your chosen assumptions, even when external circumstances seem to contradict them. Emotions play a vital role in shaping your inner world. They are the fuel that powers your creative abilities. A belief held without emotion is weak and ineffective, but when a belief is charged with strong feelings, it becomes a powerful force. Therefore, cultivate emotions that align with the life you desire. Feel the joy, peace, and gratitude of already having what you seek, even before it appears in your physical reality. This practice shifts your consciousness into harmony with your desires and accelerates their manifestation. The act of imagination is another potent tool in shaping your inner world. Your imagination is not a mere daydreaming faculty, but a divine power capable of creating realities. When you vividly imagine a scene as if it is happening now, and you feel it to be true, you impress that vision upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious, in turn, sets the wheels of creation into motion, drawing to you the people, opportunities, and circumstances needed to bring your vision to life. This is why it is said, "As within, so without." Guard your thoughts vigilantly, for they are the architects of your destiny. Reject any idea that does not serve your highest good and replace it with thoughts that affirm your worth, potential, and capability. Surround yourself with uplifting influences, books, conversations, and environments that nourish your spirit. Remember, your outer world is a reflection, not a cause. To blame external conditions is to misunderstand the principle. Instead, turn inward and take responsibility for what you find there. Your life is your creation, shaped moment by the activity of your mind. Align your inner world with your highest aspirations, and the outer world will inevitably follow. The power is within you, waiting to be realized. Your consciousness is the master key to every door you wish to open. When you shape your inner world with intention and love, you hold the reins of your destiny. Imagination is one of the most powerful faculties of the human mind, serving as both a shield and a weapon in the journey of life. It is the creative force that enables you to transcend limitations, envision possibilities, and shape your reality. When properly directed, imagination has the power to protect you from harm and manifest the life you desire. It is the unseen tool through which you navigate challenges and build a future aligned with your highest aspirations. As a shield, imagination serves to protect you from the negative forces of fear, doubt, and despair. In moments of difficulty, it allows you to envision a brighter outcome, shielding you from the paralyzing effects of hopelessness. Fear thrives on imagining the worst-case scenario, but you can disarm it by redirecting your imagination toward faith and possibility. Instead of succumbing to thoughts of failure, use your imagination to picture success. Instead of dwelling on loss, envision abundance. By doing so, you create an inner sanctuary where no external circumstance can shake your peace of mind. The imagination also shields you from the influence of others who may seek to impose their limitations or negativity upon you. The world is full of voices that tell you what you cannot do, who you cannot become, and why your dreams are impractical. Yet, through the power of imagination, you can rise above these constraints. You can create a mental picture so vivid, so compelling, that it becomes more real to you than the doubter's opinions. This mental image becomes your fortress, a place of refuge where you can reconnect with your inner truth and draw strength to persist. As a weapon, imagination enables you to shape reality according to your will. Every invention, achievement, and transformation in history began as a thought, a vision in the mind of someone who dared to imagine beyond the present moment. Imagination is the birthplace of creation. When you close your eyes and envision a desired outcome as though it has already happened, you activate the creative powers of your subconscious mind. This is not idle fantasy, but a deliberate act of shaping the unseen forces that govern your reality. The power of imagination as a weapon lies in its ability to change your vibration and align you with the outcomes you seek. When you vividly imagine yourself living your desired reality, your mind and emotions begin to resonate with that vision. This resonance draws opportunities, people, and circumstances into your life that match your imagined state. In this way, imagination is the starting point of manifestation. It is the weapon that cuts through doubt and creates the pathway to fulfillment. Imagination also serves as a tool for problem solving and overcoming obstacles. When faced with challenges, the mind often defaults to panic or resignation. But through imagination, you can rise above the immediate problem and see it from a higher perspective. You can visualize solutions that were previously hidden, transforming difficulties into stepping stones. By imagining yourself as victorious even in the face of adversity, you summon the courage and clarity needed to move forward. One of the greatest gifts of imagination is its ability to rewrite your story. No matter what has happened in the past, you have the power to imagine a new narrative. You are not bound by your history or current circumstances. Through imagination, you can create a vision of yourself as the person you aspire to be, living the life you desire. The mind does not distinguish between a vividly imagined event and a real one. It accepts both as truth. By repeatedly imagining a new reality, you impress it upon your subconscious mind, which then works to bring it to pass. To wield imagination effectively, it must be disciplined and intentional. Many people misuse this power, allowing it to run wild with fears and worst-case scenarios. But when you consciously direct your imagination, it becomes your greatest ally. Begin each day by imagining the outcomes you desire. See them, feel them, and believe in them as though they are already yours. Let your imagination be your guide, showing you the path to your dreams and protecting you from the distractions and negativity that would pull you off course. Imagination is not a luxury or a pastime, it is the foundation of all creation. As a shield, it guards your mind from the forces that seek to diminish you. As a weapon, it empowers you to create a reality that reflects your highest potential. Use it wisely, and you will discover that there is no limit to what you can achieve. The world within you holds infinite possibilities. Imagine boldly, and watch as those possibilities unfold into your life. Faith is more than hope, more than optimism. It is a complete and unwavering, knowing that what you desire already exists in the unseen realm, and is making its way into your physical reality. It is the foundation upon which all miracles are built, the force that bridges the gap between what you imagine and what you experience. Faith is not a passive state of wishing, but an active state of being, rooted in certainty and conviction. It is this knowing, this absolute trust, that transforms mere thoughts into tangible results. When you operate from faith, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. Faith does not waver in the face of evidence. To the contrary, it does not flinch when circumstances seem impossible. Instead, it holds firm, knowing that appearances are temporary and that reality is shaped from within. Faith sees beyond the present moment to the truth of what is possible. It understands that what you truly believe without doubt or hesitation must come to pass. Faith as a complete knowing is grounded in the understanding that creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in potential. The job, the relationship, the healing, the abundance, it is all there, waiting for you to claim it through your belief. To have faith is to step into the reality of your desire now, before it has materialized. It is to act, think, and feel as though it is already yours, because in the higher realms of consciousness, it already is. This is the essence of faith, a deep, unshakable conviction that transcends logic and sensory evidence. Doubt is the enemy of faith, and it arises when we rely too heavily on what our senses tell us. The physical world often appears to contradict the desires of the heart, creating a sense of separation between what we want and what we currently have. But faith dismisses these contradictions as illusions. It knows that the physical world is simply a reflection of past beliefs, and that by holding steadfast to a new belief, the outer world will inevitably conform. Faith is the power to look beyond what is and to see what can be, and then to hold that vision until it becomes reality. This kind of faith requires persistence. It is not enough to momentarily believe in your desire. You must dwell in that belief until it becomes a state of being. This means cultivating a sense of gratitude and joy for what you seek, as if it were already present. Gratitude is a powerful amplifier of faith, for it signals to the universe that you already have what you desire. By feeling thankful in advance, you align yourself with the reality you wish to experience, drawing it closer with every thought and emotion. Faith is also an act of surrender. It is not about forcing outcomes or trying to control every detail of how your desires will manifest. Instead, it is about trusting that the universe is working on your behalf, even when you cannot see it. This trust is a vital aspect of complete knowing. It allows you to release fear and anxiety, resting in the assurance that everything is unfolding perfectly. When you truly have faith, you stop questioning whether it will happen and start preparing for its arrival. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is that it shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Instead of dwelling on what is missing, you dwell on what is already yours in the spiritual realm. This shift in perspective transforms your energy, elevating your vibration to match the frequency of your desires. As a result, you become a magnet for the very things you seek. Faith is not about waiting for evidence, it is about becoming the evidence through your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Faith is the antidote to fear, the light that dispels darkness. It reminds you that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a co-creator of your reality. It empowers you to move forward with confidence, even when the path ahead is unclear. With faith, you are never alone, for you are connected to a higher power that guides and supports you in all things. Faith as a complete knowing is a choice. It is a decision to believe in the unseen, to trust in the process, and to stand firm in the face of doubt. When you choose faith, you choose to live from a place of power and possibility. You choose to see the world not as it is but as it could be, and in doing so, you unlock the limitless potential within you to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Evil, in its many forms, thrives on fear, hatred, and division. It seeks to darken the heart and separate individuals from their true nature, which is love. Yet, no matter how overwhelming the shadows may seem, they are powerless against the light of love. To dissolve evil, one must not meet it with anger or resistance, but with the transformative power of love and light. These forces are the highest frequencies in the universe, capable of dissolving even the deepest darkness without confrontation. Love is not merely an emotion, it is a state of being, a recognition of the divine essence that exists within every soul. When you embody love, you transcend judgment and see beyond the surface of any situation. Evil is often a manifestation of ignorance, pain, or disconnection. Those who perpetuate harm do so because they are blind to their own light. By responding with love, you hold up a mirror to their higher self, offering them the chance to awaken to their true nature. Love does not condone or excuse evil but seeks to heal the root causes that give rise to it. The light you carry within is a powerful shield. It cannot be dimmed by external negativity unless you allow it. When you center yourself in this light, you become a beacon of hope and transformation. Imagine walking into a dark room with a single candle. The darkness does not resist the light, it simply disappears. Similarly, when you approach evil with the light of your consciousness, it begins to dissolve. This is not a battle, but a process of illumination. Darkness cannot coexist with light, just as hatred cannot survive in the presence of unconditional love. To dissolve evil through love and light requires a shift in perspective. It is easy to view the world through a lens of separation, labeling people or situations as good or bad. However, this duality feeds the cycle of negativity. Instead, embrace the understanding that all things are interconnected, and that even the darkest moments can serve as catalysts for growth and awakening. When you choose to respond with love, you break the cycle and introduce a higher vibration into the situation. This higher vibration has the power to transform not only the immediate circumstances, but also the energy surrounding them. Forgiveness is a key aspect of dissolving evil. To forgive does not mean to condone harm, but to release the hold that anger and resentment have on your heart. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of the past and allow healing to begin. Forgiveness is an act of love, both for yourself and for those who have caused harm. It acknowledges that holding on to hatred only perpetuates pain, while releasing it paves the way for peace. Through forgiveness, you shine a light on the path of redemption, offering others the chance to choose differently. Your thoughts and intentions are powerful tools in this process. When you focus on the goodness in others, even when it is hidden, you help bring it to the surface. Visualize those who have caused harm surrounded by light, their hearts softened and their minds awakened to the truth of love. This is not wishful thinking, but a deliberate act of creation. Your thoughts influence the collective consciousness, sending ripples of love and healing into the world. It is also essential to cultivate love and light within yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. Take time to nurture your spirit through practices that align you with your higher self, such as meditation, gratitude, and acts of kindness. The more you embody love and light, the stronger your influence becomes. You do not need to confront evil directly. Your very presence can be enough to shift the energy around you. This is the quiet yet profound power of living in alignment with your true nature. Love and light are not passive forces. They are active agents of transformation, capable of dissolving even the most entrenched negativity. When you choose to meet evil with love, you reclaim your power and affirm the truth that darkness has no lasting hold. You become a vessel through which divine energy flows, bringing healing and harmony to the world. By embodying love and light, you not only dissolve evil, but also inspire others to do the same. In this way, you contribute to the collective awakening of humanity, moving the world closer to a state of peace and unity. Persistence is the quiet yet unwavering force that guides you toward the realization of your desires and the state of inner peace. It is not a frantic or desperate striving, but a steady commitment to remain aligned with your vision, no matter what the outer circumstances may suggest. True persistence is not about efforting, it is about holding faith, nurturing belief, and continuing to affirm your desired reality until the feeling of peace takes root within you. This peace is not a sign of resignation, but of mastery, the knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. Every desire, every dream, begins in the realm of the unseen. It exists as a potential reality, waiting for you to bring it forth through your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. But the path from imagination to manifestation often tests your resolve. Doubts may arise, circumstances may appear contrary, and the waiting period can feel endless. It is in these moments that persistence becomes your greatest ally. Persistence is not merely enduring the wait, it is about sustaining the feeling of your desired outcome, refusing to let go of the inner conviction that it is already accomplished. The key to persistence is cultivating a feeling of inner certainty. This is not wishful thinking or blind optimism, but a deep-seated knowing that your desires are inevitable. This certainty creates a sense of calm and confidence, even in the face of challenges. The more you persist in this state, the more peace you will feel, for peace is the natural byproduct of unwavering faith. It is the assurance that the universe is working on your behalf, orchestrating events and aligning circumstances to bring your vision into reality. So, persistence requires discipline, particularly over your thoughts and emotions. The mind is easily swayed by appearances, and it takes effort to remain focused on what you desire rather than what you fear. Negative emotions like doubt, frustration, and impatience can disrupt the flow of creation. But when you persist in cultivating thoughts of success, joy, and gratitude, you strengthen your alignment with your desired reality. This alignment brings a sense of peace, for you are no longer resisting or questioning the process. One of the most powerful ways to persist is through the practice of assumption. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and dwell in that state as often as possible. Feel the joy, relief, and gratitude of having already received what you desire. This feeling is your anchor, your connection to the reality you are creating. The more you return to this feeling, the more real it becomes, until it eventually manifests in your external world. Persistence in this context is the act of repeatedly bringing yourself back to that feeling, regardless of what is happening around you. Persistence does not mean ignoring or suppressing your challenges. It means facing them with the awareness that they are temporary and cannot derail your ultimate outcome. Each challenge is an opportunity to deepen your faith and refine your focus. By persisting through difficulties, you demonstrate to yourself and to the universe that you are serious about your vision. This commitment strengthens your belief and accelerates the manifestation process. The feeling of peace is the ultimate sign that your persistence has taken root. When you reach this state, you are no longer striving or questioning, you are simply resting in the knowing that all is well. This peace is a powerful signal to the universe, affirming that you are ready to receive. It is not a passive state, but a deeply creative one, for it aligns you perfectly with the flow of life. From this place of peace, inspired actions arise naturally, and the path to your desires unfolds effortlessly. Persistence is not measured by time, but by depth of conviction. It is not about how long you can hold on, but how completely you can align with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you persist until the feeling of peace, you have crossed the threshold from wanting to having, from separation to unity. In this state, you are no longer seeking your desire, you are living it internally, and the external manifestation is inevitable. The journey to peace requires trust in yourself, in the process, and in the divine intelligence that governs all things. This trust allows you to persist with joy rather than struggle, with faith rather than doubt. As you hold to your vision and nurture the feeling of its fulfillment, peace will rise within you as a quiet but unshakable confirmation that your desire is already yours. And when peace fills your heart, it is only a matter of time before your outer world reflects the perfection you have cultivated within. The words you speak hold extraordinary power. They are not mere sounds or vibrations, but the architects of your reality. Every word carries energy, shaping the world around you and within you. To speak is to create, and your spoken words become the seeds from which your experiences grow. When you understand this, it becomes clear that you must choose your words carefully, ensuring that they align with the life you wish to lead and the person you desire to become. Speak only words of power and life, for they are the tools that craft your destiny. Words are a reflection of your inner beliefs and emotions. They reveal what you truly hold in your heart and mind, whether consciously or unconsciously. When you speak words of doubt, fear, or limitation, you affirm those states as your reality. "I can't, it's too hard," or "I'll never have enough," are not just expressions of frustration, they are commands to the universe, instructing it to manifest exactly what you have spoken. Conversely, when you speak words of confidence, love, and abundance, you align yourself with a higher vibration, inviting those realities into your life. To speak words of power and life is to declare your faith in possibilities beyond what your eyes can see. It is to affirm your divine nature and the limitless potential within you. When you say, "I am capable, I am deserving," or "I am enough," you activate the creative force within and set into motion the events that will confirm your words. These declarations are not empty affirmations, they are acts of creation, drawing from the unseen to shape the seen. Silence can also be an act of power. There are moments when the most potent thing you can say is nothing at all. Negative words, whether spoken about yourself or others, carry a destructive energy that diminishes your power and dims your light. When faced with anger, criticism, or negativity, choosing silence allows you to rise above the lower vibrations. It creates space for reflection and preserves the sanctity of your energy. To speak words of power and life means knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Your words are also a gift to others. They have the power to uplift, encourage, and heal. A kind word at the right moment can transform someone's day or even their life. When you speak words of love and support, you not only elevate those around you but also raise your own vibration. The energy you give through your words returns to you multiplied, for the universe mirrors back what you project. By speaking life into others, you affirm the abundance of life within yourself. It is essential to develop an awareness of the habitual words you use. Many people unknowingly speak limitations into their lives through phrases like, "I'm just unlucky," or "that always happens to me." These statements may seem harmless, but they reinforce patterns of lack and misfortune. Replace them with empowering alternatives, such as, "I am fortunate," or "everything is working out for my good." Over time, these new patterns of speech will reprogram your mind and transform your reality. Speaking words of power and life requires consistency and mindfulness. It is not a one-time effort, but a daily practice. Begin each day with declarations that affirm your worth, your strength, and your vision for the future. Speak as though your desires are already realized, and express gratitude for the blessings you have and those yet to come. Gratitude spoken aloud is one of the most powerful tools for attracting more of what you want. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance and opens the door for miracles. Even in moments of difficulty, you have the choice to speak life. Instead of giving voice to fear or despair, declare hope and resilience. Say, "This too shall pass," or "I am growing stronger through this challenge." These words have the power to shift your perspective and anchor you in the truth of your inner power. When you consistently speak life, even in the face of adversity, you become a source of inspiration and strength, not only for yourself, but also for others. Remember, every word you speak is an investment in your future. Your life is a reflection of the words you have spoken and the beliefs they represent. By choosing words of power and life, you take control of your narrative, directing it toward the fulfillment of your highest potential. Speak with intention, speak with love, and speak with faith, for your words are the bridge between your dreams and your reality. With every word, you have the power to create a life of abundance, joy, and purpose. Use this power wisely, and let your words be the light that guides you and those around you to greater heights. The words you choose to speak are far more than just expressions. They are the building blocks of your reality and the key to unlocking your highest potential. When you speak words of power and life, you align with the truth of who you are, a creator capable of shaping your world with intention and love. Each word carries the energy to uplift, inspire, and transform not only your life but also the lives of those around you. By cultivating mindfulness in your speech and choosing words that resonate with positivity, strength, and faith, you step into your role as a co-creator with the universe. Let your words reflect the vision you hold for your future. Let them be declarations of abundance, love, and gratitude, even in the face of challenges. Remember that silence, too, has its place, offering you the opportunity to preserve your energy and align with your inner peace. As you speak life into your reality, you invite the highest good to unfold in every area of your existence. Thank you for allowing me to share these truths with you. May your words always be filled with power, your heart brimming with light, and your life overflowing with blessings. My friends, let us embark on a journey of discovery, a journey that reveals the most powerful way to respond to those who have caused you pain. In this moment, let us not dwell in anger, resentment, or the desire to retaliate. Instead, let us learn how to rise above, how to transcend the insult, and how to emerge victorious, not over them but within ourselves. The best revenge, my friends, is not found in retaliation, anger, or attempts to even the score. It is not about meeting their actions with equal force or sinking to their level in the hope of inflicting the same pain they gave you. No, the most profound and lasting revenge lies in rising above, in transcending the petty actions of others, and becoming so elevated in your own life that their attempts to harm you become insignificant, mere specks in the grand tapestry of your existence. To rise above is to choose mastery over reaction. When someone hurts you, they often aim to provoke a response. Their words or actions are designed to pull you into a cycle of conflict, where your energy is drained and your peace disrupted. But what happens when you refuse to engage? What happens when you rise above their reach? You become untouchable. Their power over you evaporates, and their actions lose meaning, because they fail to achieve the effect they intended. So, rising above does not mean ignoring what happened or pretending it did not affect you. Instead, it is a conscious choice to prioritize your growth and well-being over temporary emotions like anger or vengeance. It requires an inner strength that says, I will not allow this to define me. I will not let their actions dictate the course of my life. In doing so, you reclaim your power. For as long as you dwell on their actions, you are giving them control. But the moment you focus on your ascent, you break free from their grasp. There is a profound wisdom in understanding that life is not about what happens to you, but how you respond to it. When someone wrongs you, they reveal more about themselves than they do about you. Their actions come from a place of pain, insecurity, or ignorance. To retaliate is to step into the same energy that caused their behavior in the first place. But to rise above is to transcend it entirely, to stand as a beacon of strength and dignity, untarnished by the negativity they try to project onto you. Imagine this: someone throws mud at you, hoping to see you covered in filth. If you stand there and throw mud back, both of you end up dirty. But if you walk away, untouched and unbothered, they are left to deal with their own mess. Rising above is like walking away from the mud fight. It is the ultimate act of self-respect and wisdom. The beauty of rising above lies in its quiet power. It is not about proving anything to anyone. It is not about showing them you are better or stronger. It is about living in a way that their actions no longer matter. When you channel your energy into your own growth and success, you create a life so fulfilling and extraordinary that their attempts to hurt you fade into irrelevance. You become a testament to the fact that no one can diminish you unless you allow it. This path requires a deep understanding of yourself. It demands that you let go of the need for external validation or the desire to teach them a lesson. The truth is, life will handle that for you. People who act from malice or harm will eventually face the consequences of their actions, not because you intervened, but because the universe operates on the principle of balance. Your role is not to enforce justice, but to rise so high that their actions no longer reach you. When you rise above, you transform pain into purpose. You take the hurt they caused and use it as fuel to become better, stronger, and more resilient. Every step you take toward your dreams, every moment of joy you create for yourself, is a quiet but powerful statement: I am greater than what was done to me. This is not revenge in the traditional sense, it is transcendence. It is the kind of revenge that heals rather than destroys. Let them see you rise, not because you want to prove them wrong, but because rising is your nature. It is your destiny to grow, to evolve, and to shine. Their attempts to hurt you are but fleeting shadows in the radiant light of your ascent. They may look at you from afar, wondering how you managed to thrive despite their efforts to pull you down. And in that moment, they will realize that their actions had no power over you. This is the sweetest revenge, not in their suffering but in your joy, not in their downfall but in your rise. You show them, and the world, that nothing can keep you from fulfilling your potential. In choosing to rise above, you not only free yourself but also inspire others to do the same. You become a living example of strength, grace, and resilience. So rise, my friends. Rise above the pettiness, the hurt, and the pain. Rise so high that those who sought to harm you become mere spectators to your greatness. And as you rise, you will find that the best revenge is not revenge at all, it is the profound, unshakable peace that comes from knowing you have chosen to live a life of purpose, power, and grace. The journey of healing begins not by seeking change in the external world, but by turning inward and transforming yourself. When someone causes you pain, it is easy to fixate on their actions, to analyze their motives, or to plan your response. But this outward focus often leads to frustration and bitterness because it keeps you tethered to the very thing you wish to escape. True liberation comes when you redirect your attention inward and commit to inner transformation. This is where your greatest power lies. Inner transformation is not about denying the hurt you feel or pretending that nothing happened. It is about acknowledging your pain with honesty and compassion, and then choosing to rise above it by reshaping your inner world. The actions of others can only affect you to the extent that you allow them to shape your beliefs and self-perception. When you transform within, you change the way you perceive their actions, and in doing so, you free yourself from their hold. The first step in this transformation is understanding that external events are merely reflections of your inner state. Life mirrors your beliefs, fears, and expectations. When someone hurts you, it may feel like an attack from the outside, but their actions often highlight areas within you that need healing. Perhaps it touches an old wound, a hidden insecurity, or a belief that you are unworthy. By recognizing this, you shift from seeing yourself as a victim to seeing the situation as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me about myself? What beliefs or patterns is it revealing? These questions are not about blaming yourself, but about taking responsibility for your inner state. When you identify the beliefs that have allowed this pain to take root, you can begin to release them. This process may feel uncomfortable because it requires honesty and vulnerability, but it is through this discomfort that true healing occurs. As you begin to transform within, you will notice a profound shift in your perspective. The actions of others will no longer carry the same weight because you are no longer looking to them for validation or fulfillment. Inner transformation teaches you that your worth is intrinsic and cannot be diminished by the opinions or actions of others. When you fully embrace this truth, you become immune to the negativity of those who seek to harm you. Forgiveness plays a crucial role in inner transformation. Forgiveness is not about condoning the behavior of others or forgetting what they did. It is about releasing the emotional burden that their actions have placed on you. Holding on to anger or resentment keeps you trapped in the past, replaying the hurt over and over in your mind. Forgiveness breaks this cycle, allowing you to reclaim your peace. It is a gift you give to yourself, not to the other person. Transforming within also means reclaiming your power. When you focus on the actions of others, you give them control over your emotions and your life. Inner transformation shifts that focus back to you. It reminds you that no one has the power to hurt you unless you give them that power. By nurturing your inner world, you build an unshakable foundation of self-worth, self-love, and self-respect. From this place of strength, you can face any challenge with grace and confidence. To cultivate inner transformation, it is essential to develop practices that support your growth. Meditation, journaling, and self-reflection are powerful tools for exploring your inner world and gaining clarity about the beliefs and patterns that no longer serve you. Visualization is another valuable practice. Envision yourself as the person you want to become: strong, peaceful, and unbothered by the negativity of others. Feel the emotions associated with this vision and embody them in your daily life. Gratitude is another key to inner transformation. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack. You shift your energy from lack to abundance. Even in the face of pain, there is always something to be grateful for: a lesson learned, a strength discovered, or a new perspective gained. Gratitude transforms your outlook and helps you see challenges as stepping stones to growth. As you commit to your inner transformation, you will find that the actions of those who hurt you no longer define you. Their power over you diminishes, not because they have changed, but because you have changed. You have risen above their negativity, and in doing so, you have freed yourself from their influence. The beauty of inner transformation is that it not only heals you but also elevates every aspect of your life. It empowers you to create a reality that reflects your highest self, one filled with peace, joy, and abundance. It also inspires those around you to embark on their own journey of transformation, creating a ripple effect of positivity and growth. Focusing on your inner transformation is the most profound response to those who hurt you. It is not about them, it is about you. It is about reclaiming your power, healing your heart, and stepping into the fullness of who you are. And as you transform within, you will discover that you no longer need revenge, because the life you have created for yourself is its own reward. In a world that often rewards noise, reaction, and haste, there lies a profound and transformative power in silence. It is not merely the absence of words, but a deliberate and conscious choice to hold your peace, to withhold your energy from situations that do not serve your growth, and to wield your silence as a tool of strength and wisdom. Mastering the art of silence is not about withdrawing from life, it is about engaging with life on your terms, with clarity and intention. It is often misunderstood as weakness, passivity, or avoidance. But true silence is an act of immense strength. It requires self-control to resist the urge to react, especially in moments of conflict or provocation. When someone seeks to hurt you with words or actions, their power lies in your response. If you retaliate, you validate their behavior, fueling the cycle of negativity. But when you remain silent, you take away their power. Your silence says, "I choose not to participate in this chaos." In doing so, you rise above the noise and preserve your peace. Mastering silence begins with self-awareness. It is about recognizing the times when speaking would bring no benefit, when words would only escalate tension or deplete your energy. Silence does not mean suppression of emotions, but the channeling of those emotions into something constructive. When you feel the urge to react, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what purpose will my words serve in this moment? More often than not, you will find that silence carries more weight than any words you could speak. And silence also creates space for reflection. In the quiet, you can hear the whispers of your intuition, the inner voice that guides you toward wisdom and clarity. When you fill every moment with noise, whether through conversation, distractions, or reactive thoughts, you drown out this inner guidance. But in the stillness of silence, you connect with your true self. You gain perspective, allowing you to see situations for what they are rather than through the lens of heightened emotions. The art of silence extends beyond conflict. It is a way of living with intentionality. In a world where everyone is vying for attention, silence sets you apart. It is a mark of confidence and self-assurance, showing that you do not need to constantly explain, justify, or prove yourself to others. When you withhold unnecessary words, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. Your presence becomes more powerful because you speak only when your words have value. It can also be a tool for observation. When you refrain from speaking, you sharpen your ability to listen not just to others but to the subtle dynamics of a situation. You become attuned to the unspoken truths, the underlying emotions, and the motivations that words often conceal. This heightened awareness allows you to respond, not react, when the time is right. Your silence becomes a source of insight and strategy, enabling you to navigate life with wisdom and grace. There is a profound elegance in silence. It allows you to maintain your dignity in the face of provocation. When others try to pull you into their drama or provoke you with their negativity, your silence communicates that you will not lower yourself to their level. It is not about ignoring them, but about prioritizing your inner peace over temporary satisfaction. Silence is not an act of retreat, it is a stance of strength that says, "I know my worth, and I will not waste it on this. Mastering the art of silence also teaches patience. It is a practice of restraint that allows you to wait for the right moment to act or speak. In silence, you cultivate the ability to sit with uncertainty and trust that clarity will come in time. You learn that not every situation requires an immediate response, and that sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. Silence is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It is about engaging with it more intentionally. It is about recognizing that your words and energy are precious and should not be squandered on things that do not align with your highest self. When you master silence, you become a person of substance. Your presence alone speaks volumes because it is rooted in self-assurance and clarity. In silence, you also find healing. The noise of life can often drown out your inner voice, leaving you disconnected from yourself. But in the stillness of silence, you can confront your emotions, process your experiences, and release what no longer serves you. Silence is a sanctuary where you can recharge, reflect, and realign with your purpose. Mastering the art of silence is about reclaiming your power. It is about choosing when and how to engage with the world in a way that honors your energy and values. It is about understanding that not everything deserves your attention, and that sometimes the loudest statement you can make is your quiet, unwavering presence. In mastering silence, you master yourself, and there is no greater strength than that. Manifesting a better reality begins with a fundamental realization the outer world you experience is but a reflection of your inner world. It mirrors your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and the stories you tell yourself each day. When you grasp this truth, you reclaim your power as the creator of your life. You are not bound by the circumstances you see today. You have the ability to reshape your world by first transforming your inner state. Once you have a clear vision, the next step is belief. Belief is the foundation upon which manifestation is built. You cannot create a reality you do not believe is possible for you. Too often people let doubt and fear dilute their dreams. They say they want abundance but secretly believe they are unworthy. They desire love but carry the fear of rejection. These conflicting beliefs send mixed signals to the universe, delaying or even blocking the manifestation process. To align your beliefs with your desires, you must consciously replace limiting thoughts with empowering ones. Start by observing your internal dialogue. What are the recurring thoughts you have about yourself and your life? If they are rooted in scarcity, self-doubt, or fear, challenge them. Affirm to yourself, "I am worthy of the life I desire," and repeat it until it becomes your truth. The more you cultivate empowering beliefs, the more you align with the frequency of your desired reality. Emotions play a crucial role in manifestation. Your emotions are the energy that fuels your vision and propels it into reality. The universe does not respond to mere words, it responds to the vibration of your feelings. If you want to manifest joy, you must feel joyful now. If you want abundance, feel abundant even before it appears in your bank account. This is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It is about intentionally cultivating emotions that match the reality you wish to create. Visualization is a powerful tool for embodying these emotions. Each day, take a few moments to close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself living your desired reality. See the details, hear the sounds, and most importantly, feel the emotions associated with that life. Visualize as if it is happening now, not in some distant future. When you consistently embody the feelings of your desired reality, you draw it closer to you. Another vital aspect of manifesting a better reality is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, raising your vibration and aligning you with the energy of receiving. Each day, take time to appreciate the blessings in your life, no matter how small. Gratitude is a powerful affirmation to the universe that you are ready for more. It is a reminder that even as you strive for a better reality, there is beauty and goodness in the present moment. Remember that your current reality does not define you. It is merely a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and actions. If you do not like what you see, do not despair. You are not bound by your past. You have the power to create a new future. Every moment is an opportunity to choose differently, to align with your highest self. and to manifest a life that reflects your truest desires. Manifesting a better reality is not an overnight process, but a continuous practice of aligning your inner world with your aspirations. It requires patience, persistence, and unwavering faith in your ability to create. As you commit to this journey, you will begin to see subtle shifts, opportunities appearing, relationships improving, and challenges dissolving. These are signs that your efforts are working. Trust the process, stay aligned with your vision, and watch as your better reality unfolds before your eyes. Forgiveness is one of the most profound acts of liberation you can ever grant yourself. It is not a gift you give to those who have wronged you, but a powerful release that sets your own spirit free. Often misunderstood as condoning or excusing the actions of others, true forgiveness transcends the external world. It is an inner journey, a choice to let go of the heavy burdens of resentment, anger, and pain that weigh down your soul. When someone hurts you, it is natural to feel anger and betrayal. These emotions are valid, and acknowledging them is an important part of the healing process. But holding on to them indefinitely only deepens your wounds. Resentment acts like a chain, binding you to the very person or situation you wish to escape. You may think that by refusing to forgive, you are holding the other person accountable, but in reality, you are keeping yourself trapped in a cycle of suffering. It is not about forgetting the wrong or pretending it did not happen. It is not about reconciling with someone who continues to harm you. It is about freeing your heart from the poison of bitterness. When you refuse to forgive, the person who hurt you continues to hold power over your thoughts, emotions, and even your well-being. By choosing forgiveness, you reclaim that power. You take control of your narrative and release the hold that the past has on you. Forgiveness begins with a decision. It is a conscious choice to let go of the story that keeps replaying in your mind, the story that says, "I was wronged, and I cannot move on until justice is served." This story may feel justified, but it also keeps you anchored to pain. Decide instead to tell a new story. I choose to heal. I choose peace over pain. I choose freedom over resentment. This decision does not mean that forgiveness happens instantly. It is a process, and like any journey, it requires patience and compassion for yourself. Start by acknowledging the hurt you feel and the impact it has had on you. Forgiveness does not require you to minimize your pain or pretend that it does not exist. Instead, it invites you to honor your emotions while recognizing that holding on to them is no longer serving you. As you move through this process, reflect on the humanity of the person who hurt you. This does not mean excusing their behavior, but understanding that they too are a flawed and imperfect being. Often people act out of their own pain, ignorance, or fear. By seeing their actions as a reflection of their struggles, rather than a statement of your worth, you can begin to detach from the personal sting of their behavior. Forgiveness is also an act of self-love. It is a way of saying to yourself, "I deserve peace. I deserve joy. I will not let this wound define me." When you forgive, you release the emotional baggage that weighs you down and create space for healing and growth. You open the door to new possibilities, allowing love, gratitude, and happiness to flow into your life once more. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may carry guilt or shame over mistakes you have made or opportunities you feel you have missed. But just as you extend compassion to others, you must extend it to yourself. Forgive yourself for the times you fell short, for the choices you wish you had made differently. Understand that you were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Forgiveness of self is a powerful act of reclaiming your wholeness. It is not a one-time event. Old wounds may resurface, and feelings of anger or sadness may reappear. When this happens, remind yourself of your commitment to let go. Forgiveness is a practice, a daily decision to choose peace over pain. Each time you reaffirm this choice, you strengthen your capacity for compassion and resilience. You align yourself with the highest version of yourself. You step into a place of empowerment where the actions of others no longer dictate your emotional state. You realize that your peace and happiness are not contingent on external circumstances, but are yours to claim. Let forgiveness free you and watch as the chains of resentment fall away, leaving you lighter, stronger, and ready to embrace the fullness of life. Reclaiming your power begins with turning your focus inward. When life presents challenges, betrayals, or disappointments, it's tempting to direct your energy outward toward those who hurt you, toward circumstances that feel unfair, or toward problems that seem insurmountable. But true empowerment is not found in controlling the external world, it lies in mastering your internal state. By shifting your focus to yourself, you reclaim the authority over your life that was always yours. It starts with recognizing where your energy has been going. Every time you dwell on what someone said or did, every moment you spend rehashing the past or worrying about the future, you are giving away a piece of your power. You cannot change what has already happened, and you cannot control the actions of others. But you can control how you respond, how you think, and where you direct your attention. This realization is the first step towards self-focus. When you focus on yourself, you stop seeking validation or resolution from the outside world. You understand that your worth is not determined by the opinions or actions of others. No one has the right to define you, and no external event has the power to diminish your value unless you allow it. By turning inward, you cultivate a deep sense of self-respect and self-reliance. You learn to trust yourself, to honor your needs, and to make choices that align with your values and aspirations. One of the most transformative aspects of self-focus is the ability to set boundaries. Boundaries are not about shutting others out, but about protecting your energy and prioritizing your well-being. When you reclaim your power, you no longer feel obligated to say yes to everything or to tolerate behavior that disrespects you. You recognize that your time, energy, and peace are precious resources, and you become intentional about how you spend them. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love, a way of saying I matter, and I deserve to be treated with respect. Focusing on yourself also means taking responsibility for your happiness. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that happiness depends on external circumstances, a promotion, a relationship, or an apology from someone who wronged you. But external sources of happiness are fleeting and unreliable. True happiness comes from within, from a sense of purpose, gratitude, and self-acceptance. By reclaiming your power, you take ownership of your emotional state. You stop waiting for others to make you happy, and instead create a life that brings you joy. As you reclaim your power, you will notice a shift in your perspective. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your reality. You understand that life is not about what happens to you, but about how you respond. This shift in mindset is incredibly liberating. It gives you the confidence to face challenges, the resilience to overcome setbacks, and the wisdom to learn from every experience. Reclaiming power through self-focus is not about isolation or selfishness, it is about alignment. When you are aligned with your true self, you radiate confidence, peace, and purpose. This not only benefits you but also positively impacts those around you. By focusing on yourself, you set an example of what it means to live authentically and intentionally. You are your greatest investment. By turning your focus inward, you reclaim your power and unlock the limitless potential within you. Life may still present challenges, but when you are grounded in self-focus, you face them with strength, grace, and clarity. This is how you create a life that is not only successful but deeply fulfilling. In the journey of reclaiming your power, the key lies in turning inward, focusing on your growth, and freeing yourself from the chains of resentment or external validation. Through silence, forgiveness, self-transformation, and an unwavering commitment to manifest a better reality, you step into your true strength. This path is not about changing others or seeking revenge. It's about elevating yourself to a state of peace, purpose, and empowerment. Thank you for taking the time to embark on this journey of empowerment and self-discovery. Remember, the power to transform your life has always been within you. Choose to rise, choose to heal, and choose to live as the best version of yourself. Life is a mirror, reflecting back the reality of our innermost beliefs and convictions. Trust, therefore, is not merely about another person.
It is a reflection of how you honor your intuition and guard your spirit. There are those in life who, though cloaked in charm or fine sincerity, carry intentions that could disrupt the harmony of your path. Today, let us uncover 3 types of individuals you should never place your trust in. Trust is a profound reflection of the inner self, a mirror revealing not only the nature of others, but more importantly, the essence of our own beliefs, fears, and expectations. The relationships we nurture, the people we draw into our lives, and the dynamics we experience are not random. They are shaped by the state of our inner world, acting as echoes of our thoughts, emotions, and spiritual alignment. To understand trust, we must first understand ourselves, for the outer world is but a projection of our inner consciousness. Self-trust also requires accountability. We must take ownership of our role in the dynamics we experience. It is easy to blame others for broken trust, but this mindset keeps us in a cycle of victimhood. Instead, ask yourself, what part of my inner world contributed to this situation? Perhaps you ignored your intuition when it warned you of red flags. Perhaps you placed unrealistic expectations on another person, expecting them to fulfill needs that only you can meet. By acknowledging these patterns, you empower yourself to make different choices in the future. Once you cultivate trust within, your external relationships begin to shift. You no longer seek validation from others, for you are rooted in the assurance of your own worth. This self-assuredness acts as a filter, naturally weeding out those who do not resonate with your energy. You will find it easier to discern between those who are authentic and those who are not, for your inner clarity allows you to perceive the truth beyond surface appearances. Trusting others becomes less about their actions and more about your alignment with your intuition. Ultimately, trust is not a static state but a dynamic process, one that evolves as you evolve. The more you nurture your inner self, the more you will attract relationships that honor and reflect your growth. Trusting others becomes an act of courage and faith, rooted in the knowledge that your inner world is your greatest guide. When you live from this place of inner alignment, trust ceases to be a fragile gamble and transforms into a powerful expression of self-assurance. At its core, discernment is a spiritual skill, rooted in self-awareness and intuition. It begins with the acknowledgement that not everything is as it seems. People, situations, and opportunities often present themselves in ways designed to appeal to our desires, fears, or biases. Without discernment, we risk being swept away by these illusions, making choices that may feel right in the moment but ultimately lead to regret or stagnation. Discernment, however, enables us to pause, reflect, and look beyond the obvious to uncover the underlying reality. To exercise discernment effectively, one must also develop emotional maturity. Our emotions, while vital to the human experience, can cloud our judgment when left unchecked. Fear, anger, or excitement can lead us to perceive things in distorted ways, making it difficult to see situations clearly. By learning to observe our emotions without being controlled by them, we create room for discernment to operate. This does not mean suppressing feelings, but rather understanding their role and allowing them to inform rather than dictate our decisions. Discernment is particularly crucial when it comes to relationship. The people we allow into our lives have a profound impact on our energy, mindset, and overall well-being. Without discernment, we may find ourselves entangled with individuals who drain our spirit, manipulate our emotions, or divert us from our path. These relationships often come disguised as friendships, partnerships, or even love, but their true nature reveals itself over time. Discernment helps us identify these patterns early, enabling us to set boundaries or walk away when necessary. In relationships, discernment teaches us to pay attention to consistency over words. Promises and declarations can be easily made, but it is through actions and patterns of behavior that true intentions are revealed. A discerning heart observes these patterns without judgment or attachment, seeking alignment rather than perfection. It recognizes that not every connection is meant to last, and that walking away from misaligned relationships is an act of self-respect, not failure. Beyond relationships, discernment plays a vital role in the opportunities we encounter. Life is abundant with possibilities, but not all opportunities are meant for us. Some may seem promising, but ultimately distract from our purpose. Others may require patience and perseverance to reveal their true value. Discernment helps us recognize which doors to walk through and which to let remain closed. It allows us to trust in divine timing, understanding that what is truly meant for us will not pass us by. Cultivating discernment also involves learning from past experiences. Every misstep or mistake offers a lesson in clarity if we are willing to reflect on it. When we approach our past with curiosity rather than judgment, we gain valuable insights into the patterns and choices that have shaped our journey. These lessons become the foundation upon which discernment is built, allowing us to navigate future challenges with greater wisdom and confidence. An essential aspect of discernment is the ability to trust oneself. Discernment is not about
in a world filled with
always
voices
making
and
the right
opinions.
choice. Self-trust
It is about
approaching
life
life
with
with
an
an open mind and a discerning heart,
willing
this
to
trust
explore,
is not
question,
blind faith,
and adapt.
but a deep knowing.
It is a practice
we are
that deepens
equipped
over
to make
time,
decisions
shaped by a
that
willingness
honor
to
our
learn
highest
and grow.
good. The
It
more we
requires
cultivate
silencing
it,
the noise
the more
of doubt
we
and
align
external
with the truth of
validation
who we are,
and
tuning
create
into
into
the
life
still,
that reflects
small
our
voice
highest
within.
aspirations.
When we trust ourselves,
Discernment is a
flows
gift we
naturally,
give ourselves,
guiding us
a
toward
tool
choices
for
that
navigating
feel
the
aligned and
uncertainties
authentic.
of life with grace and confidence.
Deceivers
It is the
are
quiet
among the
wisdom
most
that
insidious
helps us see
challenges we
clearly,
encounter
choose
in life,
wisely,
and
for their
live
presence
authentically.
often disrupts trust,
When we embrace
harmony,
it fully,
and personal
we
growth.
unlock the power to
They
create
wear
a
masks
life
of charm,
purpose,
sincerity,
harmony,
or
and
competence,
fulfillment,
concealing intentions that can harm those who fall under their influence.
To navigate life effectively, one must recognize the danger of deceivers, not with fear or paranoia, but wisdom and discernment. Their actions, though often covert, leave trails of inconsistency and imbalance, and learning to identify these patterns protects not only your external circumstances, but also your inner peace. A deceiver thrives in the shadows of manipulation, thriving on the ability to distort reality. They often present themselves
One of the
as
most
trustworthy,
challenging aspects
aligning
of
their
dealing with
words
deceivers
with what you
is
want
their
to
ability
hear
to
or
exploit
see.
human vulnerability.
Their strength lies
They
in their
understand the
ability
natural
to
human
project
desire
a
for
facade
connection,
of reliability,
validation,
while
or
quietly
assistance, and
orchestrating
use these
actions that
desires
serve their
to
self-interest.
their advantage.
These individuals may not always
appeal to
intend
your
to cause
emotions,
harm directly,
sympathizing with
but
your
their lack
struggles
of
or sharing
alignment with
fabricated
truth
stories
creates ripple
of their
effects
own
that
hardships to
destabilize
gain
the
your
lives of
trust.
those around them. Once this
When
bond
trust
formed,
is extended to
they
such a person,
manipulate
it
the
often
relationship
results
to
in
fulfill
confusion,
their goal,
disappointment,
often at your
and,
expense.
in some cases,
this manipulation
profound
can be
loss.
subtle, leaving you questioning your judgment or even doubting your perception of reality. The impact of deception extends beyond the immediate harm caused by the deceiver's actions. It can erode your sense of self-trust, making it difficult to navigate future relationships or opportunities. When deceived, the mind often revisits the situation repeatedly, searching for red flags that were overlooked. This process, while necessary for growth, can also lead to feelings of guilt or shame. You may wonder how you missed the signs or why you allowed the deceiver into your life. These questions, though painful, are essential to rebuilding your inner clarity and fortifying your ability to discern truth in the future. It is important to recognize that the danger of deceivers does not lie solely in their actions, but in the power we give them. Often, we ignore intuitive warnings or rationalize behaviors that feel off because we want to believe in the goodness of others. This is not a flaw, but a reflection of the human inclination toward trust and optimism. However, failing to acknowledge these internal signals can leave us vulnerable to further harm. The key is not to abandon trust altogether, but to refine it, ensuring it is placed in alignment with both logic and intuition. To protect yourself from deceivers, it is vital to cultivate self-awareness. Pay attention to how you feel in someone's presence. Deceivers often leave subtle signs, inconsistencies in their stories, exaggerated claims, or an inability to follow through on promises. While their words may be convincing, their actions often betray their true nature. Observing these patterns without immediately reacting allows you to gather the evidence needed to make informed decisions about whom to trust. Boundaries are another essential tool in safeguarding yourself from deceivers. A person who respects your boundaries demonstrates an understanding of mutual respect and transparency, while a deceiver may push against them or seek to undermine them subtly. Establishing clear boundaries communicates that you value your energy and time, making it more difficult for manipulative individuals to gain control over your life. It is also important to surround yourself with people who value integrity and truth. The company you keep significantly influences your ability to identify and handle deceivers. Honest, transparent relationships create a foundation of trust that makes it easier to recognize when someone's energy feels out of alignment. These connections act as a support system, offering perspective and guidance when you encounter situations that feel unclear. While encountering deceivers can be painful, these experiences also offer valuable lessons. They teach us the importance of listening to our intuition, setting boundaries, and maintaining a commitment to truth. Each instance of deception, when viewed through the lens of growth, becomes an opportunity to strengthen our discernment and resilience. Rather than allowing the actions of deceivers to diminish our trust in humanity, we can use these moments to refine our ability to trust ourselves. The danger of deceivers lies in their potential to derail us from our path. Yet, with awareness and wisdom, their influence can be minimized. By cultivating clarity within ourselves and fostering relationships rooted in authenticity, we create a life that reflects our highest truth. Deceivers, no matter how skilled, cannot disrupt a foundation built on self-trust and discernment. They may appear as obstacles, but in facing and overcoming their presence, we discover the strength to live in alignment with our deepest values.
The double-minded individual is one of the most perplexing and challenging types of people to encounter. Their nature is marked by inconsistency, indecision, and a lack of integrity, often leading to confusion and instability for those who interact with them. These individuals live in a state of internal conflict, torn between two opposing desires, values, or paths. Their words may promise one thing, while their actions reveal another. Their alliances shift with circumstances, making it nearly impossible to rely on them. To beware the double-minded is not merely a cautionary tale about others, but a reminder to examine our own inner coherence and commitment to truth. Double-mindedness often manifests as a lack of commitment to a single course of action. These individuals are frequently swayed by external forces, their decisions driven by fear, convenience, or the approval of others, rather than by a deep-seated sense of purpose. As a result, their actions lack integrity, and they become unreliable, not because they intend harm, but because they lack the inner alignment needed to stand firm in their choices. They promise loyalty but fail to deliver, offer assurances they cannot fulfill, and vacillate when circumstances demand clarity and decisiveness. One of the greatest challenges posed by double-minded people is the emotional toll they can take on those around them. Their inconsistency creates an atmosphere of uncertainty, where trust becomes tenuous and expectations are constantly undermined. In relationships, they may seem committed one moment and distant the next, leaving their partners feeling confused and unmoored. In professional settings, they may agree to tasks or decisions only to reverse course later, creating frustration and inefficiency for their colleagues. Their inability to anchor themselves in a single direction ripples outward, affecting everyone they encounter. The root of double-mindedness often lies in a deeper internal struggle. These individuals are often caught between fear and desire, between the life they aspire to live and the insecurities that hold them back. They may lack the courage to make definitive choices, fearing the consequences of commitment or the discomfort of leaving behind other possibilities. This internal division is mirrored in their external behavior, as they oscillate between conflicting goals or priorities. Understanding this internal conflict can help us approach double-minded individuals with compassion, even as we remain vigilant to the impact of their behavior. For those who seek to build lives of stability and purpose, recognizing double-mindedness in others and within ourselves is essential. Interacting with double-minded individuals requires discernment and clear boundaries. While it is tempting to try to help or fix them, it is crucial to remember that their internal conflict is theirs to resolve. We cannot force someone to choose alignment or integrity. That is a personal journey each individual must undertake. However, we can protect ourselves by setting firm boundaries and refusing to be drawn into their cycles of indecision and inconsistency. The greatest danger of engaging with double-minded individuals is the risk of being drawn into their instability. Their shifting loyalties or priorities can create confusion, leading us to question our own decisions or values. To counteract this, we must cultivate a strong sense of self-awareness and clarity about our own goals and principles. When we are anchored in our truth, the wavering nature of others has less power to destabilize us. This requires a commitment to regular introspection and a willingness to confront any areas where we too may be harboring double-minded tendencies. Indeed, the phenomenon of double-mindedness is not confined to others. It exists within all of us to some degree. Moments of indecision, conflicting desires, or hesitation are part of the human experience. However, the key to overcoming double-mindedness is recognizing these tendencies within ourselves and addressing them with honesty and courage. This process begins with aligning our thoughts, emotions, and actions with a clear sense of purpose. When we live in coherence, our decisions flow naturally from our values, and our lives become a reflection of our deepest truths. To move beyond double-mindedness, both in ourselves and in how we relate to others, we must cultivate the discipline of commitment. This involves making deliberate choices and standing by them, even when faced with challenges or temptations. It means trusting in our ability to navigate the consequences of our decisions and embracing the growth that comes from taking responsibility for our actions. When we embody this clarity and integrity, we inspire others to do the same. To beware the double-minded is to honor the value of consistency and alignment in all areas of life. It is a call to surround ourselves with people who reflect these qualities and to embody them in our own actions. By doing so, we create relationships, environments, and experiences that are rooted in trust and authenticity. The double-minded may continue to exist, but their influence diminishes in the presence of those who have chosen the path of clarity, integrity, and unwavering commitment to truth. Manipulators are a subtle yet potent force in our lives, weaving webs of influence that often go unnoticed until the damage has been done. They operate with a keen understanding of human nature, exploiting vulnerabilities and bending situations to serve their interests. The essence of manipulation lies in control, not the overt control of physical force, but the covert control of emotions, perceptions, and decisions. These individuals can distort reality, create illusions of trust, and wield power in ways that undermine autonomy and peace. To recognize and guard against manipulators is essential for preserving personal integrity and freedom. Manipulators often present themselves as allies, cloaking their intentions in the guise of helpfulness, concern, or charm. They are adept at reading people, identifying what drives them, and tailoring their approach to tap into these motivations. Whether it's offering unsolicited advice, playing the role of a confidant, or presenting themselves as indispensable, manipulators position themselves as people you can rely on. This makes it easy to overlook their ulterior motives, as they skillfully mask their actions under layers of apparent goodwill. One of the hallmarks of manipulation is the creation of imbalance. Manipulators thrive on making others feel indebted to them. They may do favors that seem altruistic but come with unspoken expectations. Over time, this creates a dynamic where the recipient feels compelled to reciprocate, often in ways that go beyond fairness or comfort. This imbalance is not always material. It can also manifest emotionally, with manipulators cultivating feelings of guilt or obligation to maintain their hold. Emotional manipulation is particularly insidious as it operates on the unseen terrain of the heart and mind. Manipulators may use tactics like gaslighting, where they distort facts or deny events to make their victims question their perception of reality. They may feign vulnerability, using their supposed hardships to elicit sympathy and gain leverage. Alternatively, they may subtly criticize or demean, eroding self-esteem to make others more pliable. These techniques are designed to destabilize, creating a sense of dependency that allows manipulators to assert their influence. Another common strategy is the use of flattery and validation. Manipulators know how to make others feel special, praising their abilities or qualities in ways that disarm skepticism. While genuine compliments are natural in healthy relationships, the manipulator's praise is calculated, serving as a tool to lower defenses and establish rapport. Once trust is gained, they leverage it to achieve their goals, often at the expense of the very person they've charmed. The danger of manipulators lies not only in their actions but also in their ability to make you complicit in your own manipulation. They plant seeds of doubt, fear, or desire, subtly guiding your choices while making you believe the decisions are entirely your own. This erosion of autonomy can leave you feeling powerless, questioning your judgment, and struggling to reclaim control over your life. The emotional toll can be significant, leading to feelings of confusion, frustration, and even betrayal when their true nature is revealed. Recognizing manipulators requires vigilance and self-awareness. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. If you consistently feel drained, obligated, or unsure of yourself, these may be signs of manipulation. Observe patterns in their behavior. Do they seem overly agreeable or helpful, only to later ask for something in return? Do they frequently shift the narrative to make themselves appear as victims or heroes? These are red flags that merit closer examination. Setting boundaries is one of the most effective ways to protect yourself from manipulators. Clearly defining what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior communicates that you value your autonomy and are unwilling to compromise it. Manipulators often test boundaries, so it's crucial to enforce them consistently and without apology. This might mean saying no to requests, limiting your engagement with them, or addressing manipulative behavior directly. While this can be uncomfortable, it is a necessary step in reclaiming control over your interactions. It is also important to cultivate relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and authenticity. Surround yourself with people who value your well-being as much as their own, who encourage your independence rather than seeking to control it. These connections act as a safeguard, providing a counterbalance to the influence of manipulators and reinforcing your ability to trust and assert yourself. Manipulators are a part of the human experience, but their power is not insurmountable. By developing awareness, setting boundaries, and fostering genuine relationships, you can minimize their impact on your life. Moreover, each encounter with a manipulator offers an opportunity for growth, teaching you to trust your instincts, value your autonomy, and stand firm in your truth. Though their actions may be unsettling, manipulators ultimately serve as reminders of the importance of clarity, integrity, and self-respect in navigating the complexities of human interaction. The greatest defense against manipulation is a strong sense of self. When you know your values, trust your intuition, and remain steadfast in your boundaries, you become impervious to the subtle machinations of those who seek to control. Manipulators may attempt to sway you, but their efforts will falter in the face of your unwavering commitment to live authentically and independently. In a world saturated with words, promises, reassurances, opinions, and advice, it is easy to lose sight of a fundamental truth. Intuition often speaks more clearly and truthfully than the most eloquent speech. Words can be manipulated, shaped to serve purposes beyond their surface meanings, but intuition, that quiet voice within, is rooted in a deeper understanding. It bypasses the rational mind, tapping into an unseen reservoir of wisdom that senses the essence of situations and people. Trusting your intuition over words is not just a skill but a safeguard for navigating life with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. Words have power. They can uplift, inspire, and motivate. Yet they can also deceive, mislead, and mask hidden intentions. A skilled speaker can weave narratives that seem impeccable on the surface while subtly serving their own agendas. Politicians, marketers, and even those close to us may use words to sway us in directions we might not otherwise choose. In such moments, relying solely on words can lead us astray, away from our true desires and well-being. This is where intuition becomes indispensable, a quiet guide that operates beyond the reach of verbal persuasion. Intuition often speaks through subtle cues, gut feelings, a sense of unease, or an inexplicable pull toward or away from something. It is not loud or demanding but persistent, waiting for us to pay attention. Unlike words, which can be carefully constructed to appeal to logic or emotion, intuition emerges from a deeper awareness that processes information beyond our conscious understanding. It connects patterns, discerns energy, and detects incongruences that might escape the rational mind. Consider a moment when someone's words didn't match their energy. Perhaps they assured you of their loyalty, but something about their tone, body language, or even the timing of their statement made you feel otherwise. That discomfort was your intuition alerting you to a misalignment between what was being said and the truth. Similarly, there are moments when intuition draws you toward opportunities or people, even when logic cannot immediately explain why. These instances highlight the profound wisdom of intuition, which perceives truth's words may obscure. Trusting intuition over words requires a willingness to slow down and listen. Modern life often pulls us outward, demanding constant engagement with external stimuli, social media, conversations, responsibilities. Amid this noise, the quiet voice of intuition can be drowned out. Cultivating a relationship with your intuition means creating space for reflection and connection with your inner self. Practices such as meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature can help you attune to this inner wisdom. The more you listen to it, the more clearly it will guide you. Fear and doubt are common obstacles to trusting intuition. The rational mind, accustomed to relying on evidence and logic, may resist the seemingly abstract nature of intuitive insights. Fear of being wrong, of taking risks, or of going against the grain can also suppress intuitive guidance. However, intuition is not about certainty, it is about alignment. It nudges you toward what feels true, even if the path ahead is unclear. Overcoming these fears requires trust in your inner voice and a willingness to act on its guidance, even when it defies conventional reasoning. To prioritize intuition over words, it is essential to observe and question the motivations behind what is being said. Words are often colored by the speaker's desires, insecurities, or intentions. When someone's words provoke strong emotions, whether excitement, fear, or urgency, pause and ask yourself whether their message resonates with your inner truth. Notice how your body responds to their words. Intuition often communicates through physical sensations, such as a tightness in your chest, a flutter in your stomach, or a sense of calm clarity. These signals can offer valuable insights into whether to trust or question what is being said. Relationships provide fertile ground for learning to trust intuition. Whether in friendships, romantic partnerships, or professional connections, the alignment between words and actions is key. Someone's repeated assurances of care or reliability may lose meaning if their behavior consistently contradicts their promises. Intuition will often sense these discrepancies long before the mind acknowledges them. Similarly, when someone's actions align with their words, your intuition may signal trustworthiness, even if external circumstances seem uncertain. Intuition also serves as a compass for self-guidance. While external voices may offer advice or criticism, your intuition reflects your unique journey and values. It helps you distinguish between paths that align with your purpose and those that do not. When faced with decisions, especially significant ones, tuning into intuition can provide clarity that transcends the limitations of logic. It encourages you to honor your authentic desires, even when they challenge societal expectations or norms. Following intuition over words is a practice of deep self-trust. It requires you to believe in your capacity to discern truth, even when it defies conventional wisdom or external validation. It is not a rejection of words or logic, but an acknowledgement that they are only part of the equation. By listening to intuition, you reclaim your power to navigate life authentically, grounded in an inner wisdom that is uniquely yours. In this alignment with self, you find clarity, strength, and the freedom to live in harmony with your deepest truths. In conclusion, trust is a sacred cornerstone of our relationships and our journey through life. It is not something to be given lightly, for the wrong choices can lead to pain and confusion. By sharpening our discernment, recognizing the dangers of deceivers, manipulators, and the double-minded, and prioritizing intuition over words, we arm ourselves with the clarity and strength to build a life rooted in authenticity and peace. Trust begins with understanding yourself, listening to the quiet voice within, and honoring the boundaries that protect your integrity. When you align with your inner truth, you will naturally attract the people and circumstances that reflect your values and aspirations. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on this journey of discernment and self-awareness. May you walk forward with confidence, trusting wisely and living fully. There comes a time in life when you must face the inevitable. Something ends. It could be a relationship, a chapter of your life, or a dream that no longer serves you. Let it end. Do not resist, for in the end, there is only space for something new. An end is not the finality we often perceive it to be, but the beginning of something better, something that is in alignment with your true self. There are moments in life when something must come to an end. It might be the end of a relationship, the closure of a chapter in your career, or the conclusion of a long-held dream that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. In these moments, the tendency is to fight against the inevitable, to cling to what we know, what we are comfortable with, and what feels safe. But there is a profound truth: every end is simply the beginning of something new. The key to transformation lies in how we respond to the end. When something ends, whether it's a significant part of your life or a fleeting moment, it's easy to fall into despair, loss, or regret. We fear the unknown that comes after, the empty space that seems to stretch before us. But if we take a step back and observe, we realize that it's precisely in this emptiness where new things can take shape. You see, endings don't signify an absence, they create an opportunity. In every ending lies the potential for rebirth and renewal. The past must make way for the future, and the only way to make room for what is meant to come is to embrace what has been. The first step in embracing the end is recognizing that endings are a natural part of the flow of life. Change is constant, and nothing stays the same forever. Every aspect of life, from seasons to relationships to our personal growth, operates on cycles. We live in a world where nothing is static. To cling to what is familiar is to deny the rhythm of life itself. We cannot grow if we refuse to let go of what no longer serves us. Each end, no matter how painful or difficult, is simply an invitation to evolve. When we resist the end, we resist change. We hold on to what's familiar, because it gives us a sense of control and security, but in doing so, we also limit ourselves. Holding on can cause us to miss out on the next step, the new chapter waiting for us. Just as the trees shed their leaves in the fall to prepare for new growth in the spring, we too must shed the things that no longer nurture us in order to allow new possibilities to take root. Embracing the end doesn't mean that you must forget what has happened or pretend that it didn't matter. No, the key is to honor the past for what it was and to accept that it has fulfilled its purpose. Often we are taught to hold on, to preserve the past, and to keep what we have at all costs. But growth requires space. It requires an openness to what lies ahead, even if it's unclear or unknown. By embracing the end, we allow ourselves the freedom to move forward without the weight of the past weighing us down. In many ways, endings are a form of surrender. Surrendering does not mean giving up or giving in, it means letting go of the attachment to the outcome. It's recognizing that what we have experienced has been enough, and now it's time to release it and trust that something greater is on the horizon. It's difficult to let go of something we've invested so much time, energy, and emotion into. However, it's important to understand that holding on often only prolongs the suffering. The act of surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes courage to release, to acknowledge that what we've had is no longer in alignment with who we are becoming. It is also crucial to understand that every end brings with it a lesson. The experiences we undergo, whether joyous or painful, are always contributing to our growth and evolution. Even in the most challenging of endings, there are invaluable lessons to be learned. We can either focus on the pain of the loss, or we can choose to look at what we have gained. Every relationship, every job, every dream has shaped us in some way, leaving us more refined, more aware, and more equipped for what is to come. In the face of an ending, it is natural to feel sadness, anger, or fear. These are all valid emotions. However, we must not let them keep us trapped in the past. By embracing the end, we are not denying our emotions, but rather giving ourselves permission to feel and move through them. It's okay to mourn what has been lost, but we must not let grief prevent us from seeing what is ahead. The beauty of life lies in its impermanence. Each experience, each phase, has a beginning and an end. The key is not to avoid or resist the end, but to acknowledge it, honor it, and allow it to be a part of the beautiful tapestry of your life. We can find peace in knowing that the universe, or whatever higher force we believe in, has a plan for us. What ends is simply part of the grand design. By embracing the end, we are making space for the next phase of our journey. Trust that the universe always moves us toward what is best for us, even if it doesn't always appear that way in the moment. There is a deeper understanding, a deeper knowing, that we are always being guided toward the fulfillment of our greatest potential. So, let the end come. Do not resist it. Do not fear it. Accept it, and in doing so, open yourself up to the new possibilities that await. Know that by embracing the end, you are embracing the process of life itself. You are acknowledging the fluidity of existence and the power you have to create the life that is meant for you. When something ends, remember it is not the end of everything, it is the beginning of a new chapter, a new opportunity for growth, and a new path leading you toward the life you were always meant to live. To truly experience the depth of our emotions, we must first allow ourselves to feel. Yet so often when faced with pain or hurt, we instinctively try to avoid it. We fear it, deny it, or suppress it in an effort to protect ourselves from the discomfort it brings. However, there is a profound truth that can bring about a transformation in how we view and process our emotions. Feeling the hurt without resistance is the key to healing. When something painful happens, whether it's the end of a relationship, a loss, or a failure, it's easy to want to push those feelings aside. Society tells us to move on or get over it quickly, and we are conditioned to believe that we must always be strong, always composed, and always in control. This mindset leads to a disconnect between our emotional world and our true selves. The result? We hide our hurt, ignoring its presence as though it's something shameful or weak. But the truth is, our hurt is not something to run from, it is something to experience. Pain is a natural and inevitable part of the human experience. Just as joy and love are a part of us, so too is pain. It is a vital and necessary emotion, for it alerts us to areas of our lives that need attention, change, or healing. Pain isn't a punishment, it is a messenger. It tells us when we are out of alignment with our true selves, when we are grieving something lost, or when we are experiencing deep disappointment. To resist the pain is to resist the very message it brings. When we resist our hurt, we suppress it, often burying it so deep within that it manifests in other ways: stress, anxiety, or even physical ailments. Our minds and bodies have a unique way of storing emotions that are unprocessed, and these unaddressed feelings can weigh heavily on us. By denying the hurt, we create an internal battle that only prolongs the suffering. It is not the hurt itself that causes lasting pain, but our resistance to it. It's only when we face the hurt head-on, without fear or resistance, that we can truly begin to heal. Feeling the hurt without resistance means allowing ourselves to fully experience the emotions as they come. This is not a passive act, but an active choice to embrace the pain with the awareness that it is not permanent. We can sit with it, breathe through it, and allow it to move through us. This approach requires courage, as it involves confronting the vulnerability and rawness of our emotions. However, when we allow ourselves to feel, we free ourselves from the chains of suppression and denial. When we stop fighting against the hurt, we can begin to understand its deeper meaning. Emotions are not random or meaningless. Every emotion we feel is a reflection of our inner world. Pain often comes when we have unmet needs, unhealed wounds, or unresolved trauma. By allowing ourselves to feel this hurt, we open the door to understanding what lies beneath it. What is this pain telling us about our desires, our boundaries, and our own growth? When we stop resisting and allow ourselves to feel the pain, we create the space to truly hear what our emotions have to teach us. In feeling the hurt, we allow ourselves to process it fully. Our emotions need to be expressed in order to be released. Bottling up feelings only delays healing and leaves us stuck in a cycle of emotional buildup. But when we honor our emotions, whether through tears, quiet reflection, or expressing our feelings to others, we begin the process of releasing what no longer serves us. The hurt can be processed and, in time, transformed into wisdom and strength. To feel the hurt without resistance is also to trust in the natural ebb and flow of our emotional lives. We must understand that no emotion, no matter how intense, will last forever. Pain is not a permanent state, it is a phase, a season. Just as the weather changes, so too will our emotional state. The key is to stay present with it and trust that it will pass when it has taught us what we need to learn. The pain will ebb, and in its wake, we will find ourselves stronger and more resilient. One of the most liberating aspects of feeling the hurt without resistance is that it allows us to be compassionate with ourselves. Often, when we feel pain, we criticize ourselves for not being strong enough or over it already. We tell ourselves that we should be past this by now. But these self-judgments only add to the suffering. When we allow ourselves to simply feel, we embrace our humanity. We give ourselves the permission to be imperfect, to be vulnerable, and to experience life fully. By feeling the hurt, we also give ourselves the opportunity to heal in a deeper way. Healing is not a linear process. It doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't happen by forcing it. Healing requires patience, gentleness, and acceptance. It's about acknowledging that pain is a part of life's journey, and it is something that will eventually pass. But in order for healing to occur, we must first be willing to face the hurt, to experience it fully, and to release it without trying to control it. As we begin to feel the hurt without resistance, we tap into a greater sense of peace. This peace comes from the understanding that our emotions are valid and that we are allowed to feel whatever we are feeling. It is the peace that comes from knowing that pain is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be understood, processed, and released. By embracing the hurt, we learn to embrace ourselves. We learn that we are capable of moving through difficult emotions and emerging on the other side stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. So, the next time you feel pain, do not run from it. Do not push it away or try to avoid it. Instead, choose to feel it fully. Sit with it, breathe through it, and trust that in doing so, you are healing. Allow the hurt to be a part of your journey and let it guide you to a place of greater self-awareness and strength. For it is through the act of feeling, without resistance, that you will find the peace and healing you seek. Acceptance is one of the most powerful tools we have in life. It is a transformative force that, when fully embraced, can unlock our potential, bring peace, and create the freedom we seek. So often we are conditioned to resist the things we cannot control, to fight against what feels uncomfortable or out of our control. However, in doing so, we only prolong our suffering. True peace comes not from fighting against life's challenges, but from accepting them as part of the journey. Acceptance is not about resignation or giving up. It's not about tolerating negative situations or passively allowing things to happen to us. Rather, it's about acknowledging the reality of a situation, embracing it for what it is, and finding a way to move forward in a positive, empowered way. It is about recognizing that there are things in life we cannot change, and instead of fighting against them, we choose to accept them as they are, without resistance or judgment. When we resist something, we give it power over us. Resistance creates a sense of struggle, frustration, and helplessness. We exhaust ourselves fighting against what we cannot change. However, when we shift our mindset from resistance to acceptance, we immediately release that power. We regain control over our emotional state, and we begin to move forward. It is in this space of acceptance that true growth occurs. When we stop fighting, we make room for new possibilities to enter our lives. Accepting what is doesn't mean we condone everything or stop striving for improvement. It's about recognizing that certain circumstances, whether it be pain, disappointment, or obstacles, are part of life's natural rhythm. Every challenge, every hardship, has the potential to teach us something valuable. By accepting the situation as it is, we open ourselves to the lessons it holds. We may not always understand why something is happening, but we can trust that it is unfolding in a way that serves our higher purpose. The power of acceptance also lies in the ability to stop resisting our own feelings. So often, when we experience negative emotions like sadness, anger, or frustration, we feel guilty or ashamed for feeling them. We might judge ourselves for being weak or emotional, thinking that we should be able to handle things better. However, when we resist our feelings, we create an inner conflict. The more we try to push our emotions away, the more they persist, often growing in intensity. But when we accept our emotions without judgment or resistance, we allow them to move through us naturally. We acknowledge them, process them, and then release them. Acceptance creates the space for healing. In relationships, acceptance is also a crucial element. We often have expectations of others, hoping they will behave or respond in a certain way. However, when we accept people for who they truly are, rather than who we want them to be, we experience a profound shift. We release the need to control or change them, and instead we focus on appreciating them for their uniqueness. This doesn't mean we accept harmful behaviors or tolerate mistreatment, but it does mean we acknowledge others' flaws, imperfections, and differences without judgment. By accepting people as they are, we create a foundation of trust and respect that fosters genuine connection. Acceptance also plays a significant role in our ability to heal and grow. Many of us carry around past hurts, regrets, and wounds that we have not fully processed. We often replay painful memories or ruminate over things we wish had turned out differently. But the more we resist the pain, the more it persists. True healing begins when we accept the past without judgment or blame. This doesn't mean we condone what happened or forget it, but we stop allowing it to have power over us. We accept that the past is done, and by doing so, we release ourselves from the chains that bind us to it. Acceptance is a key component in our ability to create the future we desire. When we accept the present moment for what it is, we free ourselves from the grip of anxiety and fear about the future. So much of our stress comes from worrying about what might happen or how things might turn out. But when we accept that we cannot predict the future, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to control it. We focus on the present moment, take inspired action, and trust that everything will unfold as it should. Acceptance allows us to let go of the need to have everything figured out and gives us the confidence to move forward with faith and trust. The process of acceptance also invites gratitude into our lives. When we accept things as they are, we begin to see the blessings in the midst of challenges. Acceptance allows us to recognize that every experience, even the difficult ones, is contributing to our growth. We learn to appreciate the lessons that life offers us and find meaning in what we go through. It's easy to be grateful when things are going well, but it's in the moments of difficulty that we have the opportunity to deepen our gratitude. Acceptance teaches us that even in our struggles, there is something to be thankful for. Acceptance is not just about making peace with the things we cannot change. It is about empowering ourselves to create the life we desire. It is about surrendering to the flow of life and trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. By accepting what is, we release resistance and open ourselves to new opportunities, new insights, and new possibilities. We stop fighting against the current and begin to flow with it, knowing that life will always bring us what we need when we are ready to receive it. In embracing acceptance, we create space for peace, joy, and fulfillment. We stop being weighed down by the burdens of resistance and instead step into a place of flow and ease. Acceptance doesn't mean we give up on our dreams or stop striving for better. It simply means that we accept where we are right now, without judgment, and trust that everything is happening for our highest good. This is the power of acceptance to bring us peace, to heal our wounds, and to guide us toward a brighter, more fulfilled future. Healing is not something that is granted to us from the outside, it is something that begins deep within. It is a process that starts with an inward journey, a return to self. For many of us, the idea of healing conjures up images of external solutions, medications, therapies, or the presence of others. While these can support us, true healing happens when we turn inward, acknowledging the wounds within, understanding their source, and working through them. Healing is not a destination, but a continuous process that arises from within our own hearts, minds, and souls. The first step in this inward journey is self-awareness. Without truly understanding where our pain originates, we cannot begin to heal. Often we are unaware of the emotional scars we carry, buried deep within our subconscious. These scars may stem from childhood trauma, past relationships, unmet needs, or difficult life experiences. They may not always be immediately apparent, but they shape our perceptions, behaviors, and reactions. Healing starts when we become aware of these unresolved emotions. It is not enough to simply acknowledge them in passing. We must take the time to sit with them, reflect upon them, and give them space to surface. Once we acknowledge the pain, we must accept it. Acceptance is crucial in the healing process because it allows us to move forward. Many people resist their pain, either by denying it or by pushing it away, thinking that ignoring it will somehow make it go away. But resistance only prolongs suffering. Pain cannot heal unless it is allowed to be felt fully. The more we resist, the more we empower the pain to control us. Accepting the pain, on the other hand, means facing it with courage and compassion. We must be gentle with ourselves, allowing the hurt to come and go without judgment or condemnation. By accepting our emotions as they are, we begin to release their hold on us. Also requires forgiveness. Often the deepest wounds we carry are the result of hurt caused by others' betrayals, disappointments, or even neglect. These emotional wounds can fester and grow, preventing us from moving forward. Holding on to resentment or anger keeps us tied to the past and prevents us from healing. Forgiveness is not about condoning the hurt or excusing the actions of others. It is about freeing ourselves from the grip of those past emotions. When we forgive, we are not releasing others from their actions, but releasing ourselves from the burden of carrying that pain. Forgiveness sets us free. It allows us to move on, to heal, and to create the space for peace within. But forgiveness must first begin with ourselves. We cannot fully forgive others until we have forgiven ourselves. Many of us are burdened by guilt, shame, or regret from our past actions, and these emotions can weigh heavily on our ability to heal. Self-forgiveness is the first and most important step. We are all imperfect, and we all make mistakes. The key is to understand that our mistakes do not define us. We must be willing to show ourselves the same compassion we would show a loved one. It is in this self-compassion that healing truly begins. Only when we forgive ourselves can we release the shame, guilt, and self-blame that prevent us from fully embracing who we are. Healing also involves the practice of self-care. While the inner work of healing is essential, it is equally important to nurture our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We cannot neglect our bodies, minds, or spirits and expect to heal. Self-care is an act of honoring ourselves. It involves taking the time to nourish our bodies with healthy food, rest, and exercise. It means surrounding ourselves with positive, supportive people who lift us up rather than drag us down. Self-care also includes protecting our mental and emotional boundaries, learning to say no when necessary, and ensuring that we are not giving more than we can handle. It is about taking ownership of our well-being and prioritizing our health physically, emotionally, and spiritually. A crucial aspect of healing within is the cultivation of a positive mindset. Our thoughts have a profound impact on our emotional and physical well-being. Negative thinking, self-criticism, and fear-based thoughts can create blockages within us that prevent healing. On the other hand, positive thoughts can have a healing effect, releasing tension, reducing stress, and even boosting the immune system. Healing begins when we recognize the power of our thoughts and take control of them. We must learn to challenge negative thought patterns and replace them with affirmations of love, kindness, and compassion toward ourselves. The more we nurture a positive inner dialogue, the more we create a healing environment within our own minds. Another essential aspect of healing is letting go. Often we cling to old patterns, beliefs, or relationships because they are familiar, even if they are no longer serving us. These attachments hold us back from healing. Letting go can be one of the most difficult parts of the healing process, but it is also one of the most liberating. Whether it's letting go of toxic relationships, outdated beliefs, or past mistakes, releasing what no longer serves us makes room for new growth and transformation. We must be willing to release the weight of the past in order to embrace the present moment fully. Healing begins within, because it is only when we look inward that we can truly understand the source of our pain. We cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. By taking ownership of our emotions, accepting them, forgiving ourselves and others, and practicing self-care, we create the conditions necessary for healing. This process requires patience, self-compassion, and time, but the rewards are immeasurable. When we heal from within, we transform not only ourselves but also the world around us. We become more resilient, more compassionate, and more at peace with who we are. Healing begins within, and when we embrace this truth, we can unlock the power to create the life we truly desire. Trusting in divine timing is a powerful practice that asks us to surrender our need for control and to trust that everything in our lives is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. It is the understanding that life operates on its own schedule, and while we may not always see the bigger picture, there is a higher intelligence guiding us through every experience. The key is to learn to embrace patience, faith, and surrender as we navigate the journey, knowing that what is meant for us will come at the right time, in the right way. Divine timing is not something we can force. It operates outside the boundaries of our limited understanding of time. We often become frustrated and anxious when things don't happen on our desired timeline. We may think that we are falling behind, that we've missed an opportunity, or that life is not moving fast enough. However, divine timing is a reminder that everything happens in its perfect time. When we try to rush things, we interfere with the natural flow of life. The more we resist the timing of events, the more we create tension and stress within ourselves. But when we trust in divine timing, we release the need to control and allow life to unfold naturally. One of the first steps in trusting divine timing is letting go of our attachment to specific outcomes. So often we become fixated on a particular vision of how we want things to unfold, and when things don't go as planned, we feel disappointed or disillusioned. We have expectations of when certain milestones should happen, and if they don't align with our timeline, we feel lost. But divine timing teaches us that there is wisdom in the unknown. We are often given what we need, not what we think we want. There are moments when the universe withholds something from us because we are not yet ready to receive it. We might be waiting for a job opportunity, a relationship, or a dream to manifest. But sometimes we need more time to grow, to learn, or to heal before we are prepared for what is coming. Trusting divine timing means having faith that we will be given what is meant for us at the perfect moment, and that everything is aligning for our highest good. This trust requires a deep sense of patience. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, patience can feel like a lost art. We are taught to move quickly, to achieve immediately, and to make things happen on our own. However, patience is an essential component of divine timing. It reminds us that life is not a race. It's about enjoying the journey and trusting that we are being guided every step of the way. Patience is not passive, it is an active trust in the process. It's about understanding that while we may not always see immediate results, the seeds we plant today will one day grow into something beautiful. And sometimes the greatest lessons come in the waiting. It is during these periods of waiting that we cultivate resilience, strength, and understanding. Trusting in divine timing also requires the ability to surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood as giving up or resigning ourselves to passivity, but it is actually an act of courage. Surrender means acknowledging that we cannot control everything and that there is a greater force at work. It is about releasing our need for certainty and accepting that life unfolds in its own time. When we surrender, we allow ourselves to be open to the unexpected, to new opportunities, and to the lessons that come our way. Surrender does not mean inaction, rather. It means letting go of the need to force things and trusting that when the time is right, everything will align. Part of surrendering to divine timing is embracing the idea that delays or detours are not signs of failure but of protection. Sometimes things don't happen when we want them to, because we are being steered away from something that is not right for us. We may not understand why a door has closed, but trusting divine timing means knowing that there is something better waiting for us. The delay is not a denial, it's simply the universe creating space for something more aligned with our true purpose to manifest. We have all experienced moments when something didn't go according to plan, only to later realize that it was for our own good. It was a blessing in disguise, a lesson we needed to learn, or a redirection toward a more fulfilling path. Trusting divine timing also requires us to cultivate faith. Faith is the belief that everything is happening for a reason, even when we cannot see it. It is the understanding that there is a greater plan in motion, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment. Faith in divine timing means that we trust that the universe, or whatever higher power we believe in, is guiding us toward what we need. Faith allows us to be at peace with the unknown. We don't need to have all the answers, we simply need to trust that the answers will come when we are ready to receive them. Faith reminds us that we are not alone on this journey, and that the universe is conspiring in our favor, even when things seem uncertain. As we learn to trust in divine timing, we also begin to recognize the signs and synchronicities that guide us. The universe has a way of sending us messages when we are on the right path. These can come in the form of intuitive nudges, coincidences, or unexpected opportunities. Trusting divine timing means learning to listen to these signals and being open to the ways the universe communicates with us. It's about understanding that everything is connected, and when we are aligned with the flow of life, we are more likely to encounter moments of serendipity and guidance. Releasing what no longer serves you is an act of profound transformation. It is the conscious choice to let go of the old, the outdated, and the burdens that keep you from becoming the person you are meant to be. We all carry with us elements of our past old habits, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, and unhealed wounds that shape our present. These things can hold us back from experiencing true peace, joy, and fulfillment. But in order to move forward, we must learn to release them. Releasing is not about forgetting or erasing the past. It's about freeing ourselves from the weight that it carries. It's about clearing space for new growth, new opportunities, and new experiences. One of the first steps in releasing what no longer serves you is recognizing what it is. We often get so used to the things in our lives that we forget to evaluate whether they are truly serving us, or if they have simply become a part of the familiar routine. These may be thoughts, behaviors, or even physical possessions that we hold on to out of habit or comfort, but they no longer add value to our lives. It's important to take an honest look at what is draining our energy, what is holding us back, and what is keeping us stuck in the past. This might include relationships that no longer align with our values, self-doubts that limit our potential, or attachments to material things that give us temporary satisfaction, but not lasting fulfillment. Once we've identified what is no longer serving us, the next step is to acknowledge the pain or fear associated with letting go. Change is not easy. We may fear the unknown, worry about what we will lose, or feel like we are giving up something that once brought us comfort. The attachments we have to certain people, situations, or beliefs are often rooted in fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, or fear of being alone. But holding on to these fears only prevents us from moving forward. To release what no longer serves us, we must be willing to confront our fears, sit with them, and move through them. It's not about eliminating fear entirely, but about choosing not to let fear dictate our actions. It's about recognizing that our growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Releasing requires us to practice forgiveness both of others and ourselves. Often the things we need to release are tied to past hurts and unresolved emotional baggage. We may carry anger or resentment toward others for how they have treated us, or we may harbor guilt or shame for our own past actions. These negative emotions keep us tethered to the past and prevent us from moving forward. To truly release, we must let go of these emotional burdens. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrongs done to us or absolving ourselves of responsibility. It is about freeing ourselves from the grip of these emotions. Forgiveness is an act of self-liberation. When we forgive, we release the hold that the past has on us, and we make space for healing and peace to enter our lives. Letting go also involves detaching from the need for external validation. So much of what we hold on to is tied to our desire for approval from others. We may stay in relationships or situations because we fear rejection, or we may strive for perfection in our work or appearance in order to gain praise. But when we are constantly seeking validation from the outside, we lose sight of our own worth. Releasing what no longer serves us means returning to our true selves, independent of external opinions. It means trusting that we are enough, just as we are, and that our value does not depend on others' perceptions. By releasing the need for approval, we open the door to authentic self-expression and self-love. Sometimes, letting go involves releasing our attachment to specific outcomes. We may set goals or have dreams, and we become attached to how we think they should unfold. However, life has a way of surprising us, often in ways we don't expect. When we cling too tightly to how we want things to happen, we close ourselves off from the possibilities that life has to offer. Releasing attachment means trusting that whatever comes will be for our highest good, even if it doesn't look exactly like we envisioned it. It's about letting go of the need to control the future and allowing life to unfold naturally. By releasing attachment, we allow ourselves to experience more joy, flexibility, and peace. Releasing is also a physical act. We can begin by clearing out our physical spaces, our homes, our workplaces, and even our digital spaces. Our environment is a reflection of our inner state, and when we are surrounded by clutter and disorganization, it can contribute to mental and emotional chaos. Letting go of physical possessions that no longer serve us creates space for new energy to flow. It's a symbolic act that mirrors the release we are making on an emotional and spiritual level. As we let go of material things, we also let go of the attachments and beliefs that keep us tethered to the past. The act of releasing is liberating, and it invites new opportunities and experiences into our lives. The final step in releasing is trusting the process. Letting go can feel uncomfortable at times, especially when we are unsure of what will come next. However, trusting in the process of release is essential. When we let go of what no longer serves us, we create space for the new, the unknown, and the better. The universe has a way of filling the void we create with what is meant for us. Trusting the process means believing that once we release, we are making room for greater things, things that align with our true desires and purpose. Releasing what no longer serves us is an act of courage, clarity, and self-love. It is about identifying what holds us back, confronting the fear and pain tied to these attachments, and making the conscious decision to let go. By practicing forgiveness, detachment, and trust, we free ourselves from the limitations of the past and open ourselves to new possibilities. The process of release is ongoing and transformative, leading us to deeper peace, greater authenticity, and a life aligned with our true purpose. Letting go is not about losing, it is about making space for growth, healing, and the fulfillment of our deepest desires. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for emotional and spiritual growth. It is not just about letting go of anger, resentment, or hurt. It is about freeing ourselves from the emotional burdens that keep us stuck in the past. When we forgive, we release the grip that negative emotions have over us and open ourselves up to peace, healing, and transformation. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, one that allows us to move forward with our lives, unburdened by the weight of past pain. The power of forgiveness lies in its ability to shift our perspective. When we hold on to grudges, we are essentially keeping ourselves trapped in the past. We replay the hurtful events over and over in our minds, allowing them to shape our present and even our future. These negative emotions can cloud our judgment, distort our relationships, and prevent us from experiencing joy and fulfillment. Forgiveness, however, allows us to release the past and step into the present moment. It is the conscious decision to stop allowing someone else's actions to dictate our emotional state. By forgiving, we are choosing to take back our power and reclaim control over our emotional well-being. Does not mean excusing or condoning the behavior of those who have hurt us. It is not about saying that what happened was acceptable or that we should forget the wrong that was done to us. Instead, it is about acknowledging the pain, the injustice, or the betrayal, and choosing to let go of the negative emotions associated with it. It is a decision to stop carrying the weight of anger, resentment, and hurt, which ultimately only harms us, not the person who wronged us. By forgiving, we are choosing to free ourselves from the emotional imprisonment of the past, and in doing so, we create space for healing to occur. At its core, forgiveness is about releasing the need for revenge or retribution. When we are hurt, it is natural to feel the desire for justice, for the wrongdoer to face the consequences of their actions. However, holding on to the desire for vengeance only keeps us entangled in the cycle of anger and pain. Revenge may offer temporary satisfaction, but it does nothing to heal the emotional wounds we carry. In fact, it only deepens the pain and keeps us stuck in the past. Forgiveness, on the other hand, allows us to break free from this cycle. It is an act of emotional liberation that frees us from the need to seek punishment or retribution. It is a decision to let go of the past and trust that justice will come in its own time, in its own way. One of the most powerful aspects of forgiveness is its ability to heal our own hearts. When we forgive, we are not just releasing the other person, we are also healing ourselves. Unforgiveness is like poison in the soul. It festers and grows, eating away at our happiness and peace of mind. It can manifest in physical ailments, strained relationships, and a general sense of discontent. When we choose to forgive, we free ourselves from this poison. We stop letting the actions of others dictate how we feel, and we regain our emotional balance. Forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves because it allows us to move forward with peace in our hearts, unburdened by the past. Also has the power to transform our relationships. When we hold on to resentment, we build walls between ourselves and others. These walls create distance and prevent intimacy, connection, and trust. By forgiving, we tear down these walls and allow for healing to take place. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciling or returning to a relationship as it was before. It simply means releasing the emotional charge attached to the event. It means no longer allowing the past to define our interactions with others. By forgiving, we create space for growth, understanding, and deeper connection. Even if the relationship cannot be restored, forgiveness allows us to move on with peace in our hearts, no longer carrying the weight of bitterness or resentment. Forgiveness is also a way to release ourselves from the grip of victimhood. When we hold on to anger and resentment, we are essentially giving away our power. We are allowing the actions of others to define us and control how we feel. We become victims of our circumstances, constantly reliving the pain and hurt of the past. Forgiveness, however, is an act of empowerment. It is a conscious choice to stop being a victim of our past and to take back our power. It is a decision to stop allowing the actions of others to control how we feel, and to instead take responsibility for our emotional state. Forgiveness frees us from the role of the victim and allows us to reclaim our personal power. It is not always easy. It requires vulnerability, humility, and strength. It is often much easier to hold on to anger and resentment than to let them go. We may feel justified in our hurt, and we may believe that by forgiving, we are somehow letting the other person off the hook. But the truth is, holding on to anger only hurts us in the end. Forgiveness is not about condoning the behavior of others. It is about freeing ourselves from the emotional weight of the past. It is about choosing to move forward with peace in our hearts, regardless of what has happened. The process of forgiveness is different for everyone. It may take time, reflection, and even the help of a therapist or spiritual guide. It is important to give ourselves permission to forgive at our own pace. Some wounds may take longer to heal than others, and that is okay. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. It is a continuous process of letting go, releasing the past, and choosing peace in the present moment. With time, the burden of unforgiveness lightens, and we are left with a sense of freedom and emotional clarity. The power of forgiveness is profound. It is a transformative act that allows us to release the pain of the past and create space for healing, peace, and growth. Forgiveness is not about excusing the actions of others, but about freeing ourselves from the grip of negative emotions. It is a gift we give to ourselves, one that allows us to move forward with emotional freedom and strength. By forgiving, we reclaim our power, heal our hearts, and transform our relationships. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our strength and resilience. It is a powerful tool for emotional liberation, one that can bring lasting peace and transformation to our lives. Moving forward with grace is about embracing change, navigating life's challenges, and stepping into the future with a sense of dignity, compassion, and poise. Life will inevitably present us with moments of difficulty, uncertainty, and even heartbreak, but how we respond to these moments can shape our journey and define our character. Moving forward with grace is not about avoiding pain or pretending that challenges don't exist. It is about facing them with a mindset that allows us to learn, grow, and evolve, while maintaining inner peace and respect for ourselves and others. One of the first steps in moving forward with grace is accepting that life is not always going to go according to plan. Expectations can be powerful, and it's natural to hope for certain outcomes, whether in relationships, career, or personal goals. However, life has a way of surprising us, often throwing us off course in ways that we could never anticipate. The key to moving forward with grace is accepting that setbacks, disappointments, and detours are part of the journey. Acceptance does not mean resignation, rather. It means acknowledging the reality of the situation without resistance. When we fight against what is happening, we only prolong our suffering. Acceptance allows us to flow with life, rather than against it, and it enables us to respond with a calm, centered mind, rather than reacting out of frustration or fear. Moving forward with grace also requires a deep sense of self-compassion. During times of hardship, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to fall into self-criticism or self-blame. We might feel like we are failing or that we're not doing enough. However, treating ourselves with kindness and understanding is essential for healing and growth. We must remind ourselves that it's okay to stumble, to make mistakes, and to experience setbacks. We are human, and part of being human is learning how to rise after we fall. Self-compassion allows us to approach our struggles with a sense of gentleness, offering ourselves the same empathy and support that we would offer a loved one in a similar situation. By treating ourselves with grace, we create the space for healing to take place, allowing us to move forward with greater resilience and strength. Another crucial aspect of moving forward with grace is letting go of the past. Often we carry emotional baggage from previous experiences that weigh us down and prevent us from fully embracing the present. Whether it's past regrets, old wounds, or unresolved pain, these emotions can cloud our judgment and hinder our ability to move forward. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means releasing the emotional charge tied to those experiences. It means making the conscious choice to no longer let the past dictate our present or our future. When we release the grip of the past, we open ourselves to new possibilities and new experiences. We free ourselves from the chains of resentment, regret, and guilt, allowing our hearts to heal and our minds to clear. This act of letting go is an act of grace in itself, as it requires trust that we are capable of moving forward without the weight of what has already happened. Moving forward with grace also means maintaining a positive mindset, even in the face of adversity. Our thoughts have incredible power over our emotions and experiences. If we focus on the obstacles in front of us, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed or discouraged. But when we shift our focus to what we can learn from each challenge, we begin to see the opportunities for growth that are present, even in the most difficult situations. Moving forward with grace requires a shift in perspective, a commitment to finding the silver lining and embracing the lessons that come with every trial. This doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine, When it isn't, it means acknowledging the difficulty while choosing to remain hopeful and open to the possibility of growth. A positive mindset does not guarantee that everything will go perfectly, but it does give us the strength and determination to keep going, even when things seem uncertain. A key component of grace is understanding that we are not in control of everything. There are many aspects of life that are beyond our influence, and trying to control the uncontrollable only leads to frustration and stress. Moving forward with grace involves surrendering to the flow of life and trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. It's about accepting that some things are outside of our control, but that doesn't diminish our power to choose how we respond. By releasing the need to control every outcome, we free ourselves from the anxiety that often accompanies uncertainty. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up, it means trusting that, in time, things will fall into place as they are meant to. To move forward with grace, we must also cultivate patience. The path to healing and growth is rarely a straight line. There will be ups and downs, periods of progress, and moments of setback. Patience allows us to be gentle with ourselves during the process. It reminds us that it's okay to take things one step at a time, and that progress is not always linear. The beauty of moving forward with grace is that it's not about rushing toward an end goal. It's about embracing the journey, knowing that each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to our true purpose. Patience gives us the space to breathe, to grow, and to trust that everything is happening in its own time. Moving forward with grace also involves extending that grace to others. As we navigate our own struggles and triumphs, we must remember that everyone else is on their own unique journey. People may hurt us, disappoint us, or make mistakes along the way, but holding on to grudges or resentment only keeps us bound to the past. Offering grace to others means letting go of the need to hold them accountable for every wrong and choosing to see them as fellow travelers on this path of life. When we extend grace to others, we free ourselves from the burden of judgment and open ourselves to the beauty of understanding, empathy, and compassion. Moving forward with grace is about embracing the present moment. Often we get so caught up in what has happened or what might happen that we forget to fully experience the here and now. The present is the only time we truly have, and it is where we have the power to make choices, to heal, and to create. When we move forward with grace, we make the conscious decision to be present, to appreciate the small moments, and to fully engage with the life that is unfolding right before us. By embracing the present, we empower ourselves to create a future that is aligned with our true desires and values. Moving forward with grace is an act of self-love, self-compassion, and trust in the process of life. It is about accepting the ebb and flow of life's challenges, letting go of the past, maintaining a positive and open mindset, and surrendering to the wisdom of divine timing. But it is about moving forward with patience, understanding, and a sense of inner peace, knowing that each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to the person we are meant to become. Moving forward with grace allows us to face life's trials with courage, to learn from our experiences, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. It is the art of navigating life's journey with poise, dignity, and a heart full of hope. In conclusion, moving forward with grace is about embracing the fullness of life, the challenges, the triumphs, and everything in between. It requires us to accept, heal, and release what no longer serves us, while trusting in the process and timing of life. Through patience, self-compassion, and a positive mindset, we are able to navigate the ups and downs with dignity and strength. Moving forward with grace is not just a choice, but a way of being, one that allows us to grow, learn, and transform into the best version of ourselves. Thank you for taking this journey with me, and may you continue to move forward with grace, no matter where life leads you.